across America, a large variety of unique and uncommon musical instruments are being played. One such instrument is the hammered dulcimer. This trapezoid-shaped instrument is played by using small mallets, commonly called hammers, to strike strings which are stretched tightly across a wooden soundboard. The instrument has ancient roots dating back over 2,000 years and originating in Persia. Hammered dulcimers were popular during the Middle Ages, and after centuries of effort, the hammered dulcimer evolved into today's most commonly played string percussion instrument, the piano. But the organic sound of the piano's ancestor never died. The United Kingdom, Russia, China, India, Germany, Brazil, and many other countries have variations of this instrument today. The traditional sound of the hammered dulcimer can still be heard today through the music of Bill Robinson.
I'm a third-generation player on dulcimer. I learned from my dad, and my dad learned from my grandmother. And my grandmother played the dulcimer in church. My grandfather was a minister, and they didn't have the piano or the organ at that time, and so that's what she played. Anyway, when my dad had a stroke, I was a teenager, and he lost control of his left side, and so, of course, I messed with the dulcimer, and I decided I better get serious with it. And I had donated my grandmother's instrument to the Illinois Museum Association so that it would be traveled around the state of Illinois. Sometimes people will call them 13, 14, 15, 16, but anyway, we were always classed them as the number of bass notes. This is actually a D chord. D, F sharp A, and then G, B, D, C, E, G, and then F. And so, anyway, then over here you have your scales, which starts out. So, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, 4 and 4.
Maintaining a hammered dulcimer requires constant tuning, which is done using a tuning wrench to tighten or loosen the zither pins to which the strings are attached. Oftentimes electronic tuners are used to aid the process of tuning, although Bill typically tunes by ear. On occasion, the strings of the dulcimer will break and need to be replaced.
It's like threading a needle. In this case, we have to go in this bridge, in between. It'll go over the top of that one and underneath this one. Bring it over, wrap around this screw, and I'll make a turn and a half. Then you want to make sure that you feed it back through the hole in the bridge, because if you don't, if you put it over the top, then you've got to take it back all off, and you might as well just start from scratch. And the way my dad taught me to play was to play the melody with my right hand and play the harmony with my left hand. If you take a tune like Boil 'em Cabbage, it's only 4 notes, and you just go. I mean, you just start adding your left hand, and you can go all over, and you can just. People also ask, what are you playing at with those sticks there? What are those sticks? Well, if you think about it, probably your mother, grandmother may have worn them a few times, Do you ever see them lace up that old corset? Well, anyway, I still make the hammers out of them. And And believe it or not, every once in a while I get lucky and find a corset. But anyway, no, actually there's a place over around Davenport, Iowa that they still make costume clothing for plays, and they still have corset stage. So I think I'm probably their biggest customer. I had the little Dulcimer on like a laundry cart, and so anyway, when the light came on, I struck my first note, and the stand collapsed on one side. And so the gentleman playing the electric bass saw it, and he reached over and he caught it and pulled it right back up. I didn't miss a note, but I decided there had to be a better way to do this. So when I got back home, I put straps on it, and I ended up just strapping it around my waist, and it worked out to be pretty good because it was kind of my trademark. I don't know any other one else that really did it that way. I would travel around and pick up everything I could, and learn from different people, and I would take the music that I learned from one instrument and apply it to the Dulcimer. We went down to Bean Blossom, Indiana, where Bill Monroe had his bluegrass festival, and a little bit later on, Bill came by and asked me if we would come up on stage and do a set for him at the festival there. So sometimes people think that Dulcimer doesn't fit bluegrass music, but I guess if the father of bluegrass can ask you to come up and play for the festival, there's got to be something there. So.
In 1980, Bill formed the band Bill Robinson and Friends, which has gone on to win multiple awards from the North American Country Music Association as well as the Illinois Country Music Association. The group consists of Bill and a collection of other musicians that change depending on the location and the occasion.
That's what's neat about my going as Bill and Friends, because I never know for sure who my friends are. Of course, Greg always says he's the only friend I have left.
What do I think of Bill? Grandpa? We have a lot of fun. You know what? A good friend that we lost a year and a half ago introduced us and kept telling me about this guy that plays a dulcimer, and I had no idea what a dulcimer was. And so maybe take a day off work one time and come and meet Bill at his job, and that's where we met. So we spent the afternoon at Bill's house. Both of us supposed to be working, playing music at his house one afternoon. So.
Love to play when I have someone else playing melodies. It gives me a chance just to cut loose and just, you know, wander around. I mean, it's endless what you can do with it.
Over the years, Bill Robinson has taught hundreds of students how to play the hammered dulcimer at group workshops and through private lessons. He teaches music orally, so it's possible for anyone to learn to play, even if they aren't able to read music. Bill's teachings are not limited to the dulcimer, however. He also teaches fiddle, mandolin, guitar, and banjo.
I started teaching probably 40-some years ago. I actually started teaching banjo first. We moved into this area up here in St. Charles, and Dick Waterbury approached me I sat down and played a few tunes for him, and he said, yeah, that's what I want to learn. So next thing I knew, I had several people calling about wanting lessons.
Bill and his students have received 7 Master Apprentice grants with the Illinois Arts Council. Additionally, students of his have gone on to receive their own recognitions from the Arts Council and other organizations, as well as awards at regional and national competitions.
Studying with Bill is interesting. He's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. He makes it fun. So, a lot of his stuff is like handed down from generation to generation, so hoping to carry that on.
Right now, I'm not sure how many, several hundred people I've had. It makes me feel nice to go someplace and all of a sudden I hear somebody playing the Dulcimer and I can pretty much tell you who they are. And you know, just to think that I've at least touched people's hearts and where they're carrying on the tradition, and I just think that's wonderful.
Bill Robinson's playing style is distinctly recognizable for a multitude of reasons, the most important of which is his sound.
Traditionally, at least in the United States, I think I've just heard it more, maybe slower music, as in Michigan they have their own styles, different regions have their own style.
Listen to the difference between this sample of music played in a lyrical style and then Bill Robinson's style. Also, notice the difference in the hammers, the instruments, and the way they are positioned.
Our family was known for playing music at barn dances and things like that, so sometimes you have to change the tune just a little bit to make it fit so people don't fall down when they dance. It seemed like no matter where I go or whatever I do, the minute I pull that Dulcimer out and start playing it, I'm pretty much stuck right there because people just start coming around and wanting to play along with.
I think that the audience enjoys his playing so much because he has such a love for it, and it's really demonstrated when he performs because he puts his all into it. He'll play 12 hours straight. He just will go on and on and on.
You can be outside and play it, and you're going to hear it before you hear any other stringed instrument. In fact, you can even make the banjo players complain once in a while. I never get tired of playing it. It's wide open to experiment. If you got room for a whole note, you got 2 halves, 4 quarters, so on like that. I mean, it's unlimited of what you can do with it.